Hi everybody, thanks for joining Create with Dee. Today I have a special guest with me, Devette Miller, and together we're going to be creating this fun fold card. It's called the Flat Fold-Up Card. We made it at our Stamp-A-Palooza in-person event, and if you got the kit to go, this is the card that you'll be making. It also features the stamp set, Seasons Like Christmas. Let's get started making this fun fold card. Devette, please share with us the measurements and the cuts that we need for this project.
Okay, our card base today that we're using is in Island Indigo, and it's 4 1/4 by 10 1/4, and we're going to score that at 5 1/2, 6 1/2, 8 3/4, and 9 3/4. Then our front step is 2 3/4 by 5 3/4. We're going to score that at 4 1/4 and 5 1/4. Then we have our front piece in Whisper White that we're going to be stamping on, and that's 2 1/4 by 4. We're going to have 2 pieces of Designer Series paper that is called Year of Cheer. And we have this one that is 2 by 4, and we have this one that is 3 by 4. We also have a piece of silver foil that I cut out in the stitched ovals, and that piece is 2 1/2 by 4. We have a 1 1/2 by 2 3/4 piece of Whisper White for our sentiment, and then that layering piece is 3/4 by 3, and then our back piece for the back of our card is 5 1/4 by 4.
And you guys don't have to worry about writing down those measurements if you don't want to. Just click on the link below the description here on the video, and it'll take you right to my blog post that will have all of the measurements. So if you don't feel like copying those down, please just visit my blog. Alrighty, so first of all, what we will recommend is that you stamp the tree trunk image, and that's this image here on the stamp set, and this is what it looks like as a photopolymer. It does kind of break up the branches, and we're using Early Espresso on it. So what we'll do first is we'll ink up the branch, and we're going to stamp it on our Whisper White layering piece.
And we're just going to tap it on the new pads because they're so juicy. Otherwise you're going to get ink all over the stamp itself and the block, and then you're going to get it on your card.
Awesome, awesome.
So for this one, we're going to stamp all the way to the bottom of the paper and in the center. And then we're going to stamp right in the center of our back piece of paper.
Because I don't know if you noticed it when we shared the back of it, but it is a stamped off tree that looks like it's in the background. So, you know, we don't need to stamp off because we'll just use that second stamp that we're already using. All right, next what we're going to do is stamp the first layer on the background, and we're using Bermuda Bay.
Now again, when you're using the bigger stamps, you're going to take your ink pad to your stamp. Otherwise, I tend to get ink all over my block. And you can see if you're getting the ink all over your stamp.
And I do want to mention that Devette does have one of her paper piercing pads underneath of her grid paper here, her scrap paper, because with photopolymer you always want to have that cushiony surface to it. So it's just underneath of it, just wanting to let everybody know.
So when you're getting ready to put your tree onto your branch layer, there you have holes here that you can line up. So you're going to start the bottom of your tree at the tip of your branches on the bottom, and then you can see the tip of the brown through the top, so you know exactly where to stamp.
Show them how that looks, Devette. Isn't that awesome? Oh my gosh, I love how it just looks like it's through. And I've made a couple of these, girls and guys too, and you know, it's forgiving too, so if it's not 100% right on there, it's still okay.
Now we're going to stamp off, and then we're going to stamp back on.
So this is going to really give it that light background that we want for the back of our sentiment that's going to be on the back of our card. So pretty.
Okay, our next step is we're going to use our Pacific Point, which is the front layer of the tree. And this stamp is small enough that you can go ahead and put your stamp right on your ink and tap it. Once again, don't push hard because you'll get your whole stamp coated in ink. And now we're going to stamp directly on, right over the top. And again, you're going to line up the bottom of your tree trunk with the top up here. And you can see inside the little holes for the tree, and you can't really make a mistake because it's just a layer. So you're going to stamp on.
I love that color combination.
And we're going to stamp off. Well, I guess we're not going to do that to the back.
You could if you wanted to, but we don't have to. We're not going to in this example.
Okay, so now we're going to ink up our sentiment that goes on the back of the card in Bermuda Bay. And we're going to stamp towards the top.
I absolutely love that. I wouldn't have thought to have stamped off twice for the background of that, but it, you know, Devette's design that she did for Stamp-A-Palooza is just gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous.
Okay, for the last step on the back of our card, we're going to use this little snow.
So this comes in the stamp set here, so that just, it's made to anchor your tree.
So I'm going to stamp off twice. I'm going to rock it really good to get most of that ink off, and then I'm going to put it right at the base of the tree.
Because we just really want that shadow there. Oh, so cute. I'm going to hold this up a little bit just in case. Can you see that? So pretty. And that would make a pretty card just by itself. Okay, Devette, show us how that we put together our fold-up front card.
Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to have your the scored part of your card to the left and the unscored to the right, and you're going to fold this 1, 2, 3 score lines up and fold it over, just like that. And you're going to take your bone folder and make sure you got a nice crease on that. Then you're going to fold the next score line back the other way. And then you're going to fold this last score line the opposite way. So you're going to end up with a backward Z. Okay?
Can you show us the side view of it, Devette, when you get it pressed down here? Oh, great. Perfect. Thank you.
So then we're going to put glue on this 1/2 inch piece here. And I'm using Tombow because it's an excellent glue and it doesn't take much. And a tip that when you're using your glue, if you just lay it on the side, the glue stays closer to the end. You don't have to wait as long for it to come back down to the tip. So we're just going to flip this over and press it down.
And it's important to keep it flat because that's how the mechanism goes so that you can actually mail it. So that's this section right here that we're doing. Okay, so we're completing that so it will lie flat for mailing for your card.
So that makes your pop-up card.
Yay!
Okay?
Oh, that's genius. I love this card. I love it.
Oh, okay, now we're going to add our Year of Cheer DSP.
It's kind of nice having a buddy to do these videos, Devette. This is nice.
Absolutely. It gives you 4 hands and 2 mouths, which usually isn't very good, but today it is.
Sometimes for stamping, it's awesome.
Yes. So we're just going to line this up in the center so it's an equal amount all the way around your card. And I move it both ways so I can see the bottom edge and the top edge to make sure that it's in the center. And we're just going to add the top.
I absolutely love this Year of Cheer Specialty Designer Series paper. It's got both silver and gold and I think a little champagne glimmer paper all in the different designs within the paper. It's pretty gorgeous.
It's prettier in person than it is in a catalog.
Absolutely.
For sure and certain.
Okay, so we got the DSP down.
Okay, now for our next step, for this centerpiece here, again, it was 2 3/4 by 5 3/4, and I'm not sure if I told you the score marks on this or not, but it's 4 1/4 by 5 1/4. And we're going to take this piece, we're going to fold it back again, and fold it forward. Crease it so it's nice and sharp, and then we're going to flip it over, and we're going to put glue on the bottom about 1.5 inches. Now I tried making this with just putting glue on the bottom, but when I finished my card, it didn't stand as nice, so I put more adhesive on it, which made it a firmer card.
Ooh, good tip.
So we're going to put this in the center of the bottom. Press it down. Now we're going to put glue on this little 1/2 inch flap here. And again, we're just going to press it down. Check to make sure that it looks pretty centered.
Kind of give it a second to set, but it doesn't take much.
And there's your pop-up mechanism.
Awesome.
Okay, so let's go ahead and finish decorating the rest of our card.
Let's just see that side view again of how this goes together. So there's that tab that you fold down. Whoops. So you're folding that tab down and gluing it so that that's flat. And so when you open it up, you've got this little tab. So it's going to make this box shape that collapses when you mail it, or you give it, and then it opens up.
Okay, so let's put our next layer on. We're going to go ahead and flatten our box back out. We're going to get our tree. We're going to go ahead and glue our tree down so it's in the center of our flap. Let me stand that up there so you can see what I'm talking about. We're going to go ahead and attach that. And again, it doesn't take much Tombow because this is really good glue. And with Tombow, it also gives you a little bit of leeway to get your edges around the top. And you want to pull it down just a tad because this piece of Whisper White is going to be covered up by your oval. So you have a little bit of leeway to be hidden behind your silver foil. Okay, so I went ahead and put dimensionals on the back of our oval. And anytime that I'm cutting any of the ovals, I use the stitched framelit. So this piece that you cut out here is not wasted. It already has stitching around it that you can use on another project. And
whoops, I'm sorry about that.
So I just keep all of those extras inside my box with the rest of my stitched framelits.
I thought that was brilliant. I would have just used the regular layering ovals, but you know how the stitched is so awesome. That was a great tip that I'm sure going to be using from now on.
And also, when I'm using my dimensionals, I usually cut them in half or in thirds, so it gives me automatically half dimensionals down the center. So if you ever need them, if you don't have the
edges or
the long ones.
Oh, the foam strips.
The foam strips. Then you can just use these just as easy. Okay, let's go ahead and attach this. And you want the smallest part to the top of the tree. And it just presses down. So there we have that. Now we're going to go over this with the Wink of Stella and just highlight some of the areas.
How good is Wink of Stella? I can't hardly make a card anymore without having that. It's such a subtle little shimmer of something in there. I just love it.
Me too. It makes everything a step up. It takes everything just a step up.
And it's a little something that adds so much. So much.
And I usually put this on there after the oval because I don't want to waste any of it because the rest of this is covered up by the paper, so why waste my Wink of Stella? Okay, now I've just gone ahead and put on my little pieces of glimmer paper. Do you know when you punch something out or when you cut something out with your dies and you have these, tiny little scraps where you've punched a hole out and you just have those corners? I use different size hole punches and I'll punch them in my containers and have them ready to go. So I'm not really wasting all of that glimmer paper because it's great for projects.
And I think that these are anywhere between 1/4 of an inch to 1/8 of an inch hole punches that we're using.
Okay, for time's sake, I went ahead and embossed in silver embossing powder on our 1/2 inch strip, our sentiment, and I'm just going to attach that to our layer.
Again, multi-purpose glue is so awesome. It just will take you to this project start to finish.
Just put that in the center. Okay, and then I took my bone folder and I kind of curved it a little bit.
It's going to give that look to it.
And then I just pinched the edges up. Put a little bit of glue on there.
If the glue will cooperate with this, that's always happens sometime.
Okay, now we're just going to attach this to the bottom of our card. Right, you want to leave a little bit of the silver strip underneath your banner.
Maybe about 1/8 of an inch, do you think? Just a little bit?
Yeah,
so it
just
shows?
a tad. And then you can make this part as thick up or as flat as you want. You don't even have to curve it. I just like that extra look. It gives it a little bit extra oomph.
Gives it that more dimension, like you said, that oomph on it.
Okay.
And more is always good.
Right. So, and then on here, I just added rhinestones to give it a little bit of extra bling. And then for the back, you're just going to put some more Tombow on the back of your card, and it'll attach here. And then your finished product, again, is this card here that folds flat, so you can still sign it on the back.
Just stunning, Devette, just stunning. So I know that the Stamp-A-Palooza gals in person, you know, will love this card. We haven't done it with them just yet, but we soon will be. And then for those of you that got the kit to go, of course you can use your own stamps with it too, like what we said on it. But the Seasons of Christmas is just such a great layering set that I'm sure that it's something that you might like to have in your collection. Well, Devette, thank you for helping today and showcasing the card that you designed and that you facilitated during Stamp-A-Palooza. And everybody, thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye.